GMB Pros, welcome family, everyone that's catching us on the replay. Those that are catching us live on Facebook, I appreciate everyone's support. Once again, the goal of William and I's purpose of GMB Pros is twofold. One, to help grow your agency, or two is help get better results for your clients. And we do. So cool. We covered a little bit, the best practices, what I like to call them, your foundational stuff, right? Best in class, as far as with keyword research for your content on page, your backlinks. Start off with the basics, go after the big ones here, especially with Hero, that you can expand out. What else makes healthcare SEO different?
I think one of the biggest things is when we're looking at user experience and what the algorithm wants to see, especially with the page experience update in the last couple of years for Google. Healthcare facilities, and especially providers, they have a lot of credibility. That's one thing that makes it unique, because they have those initials behind their name, MD or whatever it is. And that makes them so valuable. Any asset that you create, any content that you can create, makes them an expert. And they already are an expert. They already went to medical school. They've put 12 or 14 years of schooling into who they are and who their practice is. But when they have huge pieces of content that are bringing them credibility, bringing them publicity beyond that, and that's on their website, that's a nicely designed website. It's professional, easy to use. Man, that's something that makes them go a tier above, to show that they're standing out from the crowd. It's not just a website built on Wix by their cousin in 2005. You know what I mean? You see the difference. You see the difference. And what that does is it enhances who they are, makes them stand out above the pack.
Now, I know you have your experience and your background is with substance abuse and the ER, the real extreme cases, right? But
yeah,
within your agency, does this work for functional medicine, the dental offices, the chiropractors? Is it different, or within your agency, do you deal with those offices or those practices?
Yeah, I've worked with lots of different specialties. It just really depends. The main thing is we want somebody that we can communicate with. I mean, we do obviously tons of research when it comes to before creating any content, but the main thing is that we need to have somebody that we can ask questions of if we're not personally familiar. Now, my content manager, she's a registered dietitian. I have content writers that are nurses or nurse practitioners or medical doctors. I have all of the above, really. And so we could definitely go beyond the specialties that I personally worked in. I personally worked like you said, behavioral health, addiction medicine, emergency medicine. I've worked in surgery for a total of about 5 years, but I haven't worked as a nurse in a couple years. And so I definitely can't just rely on my own personal experience. But we definitely want to lean on other people who have more knowledge in different areas.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it's so different, right? Weight loss clinic here. Dr. Margot, if you want to chime in here with any questions, feel free, or Kyle, or any of our guests that are here live, feel free to chime in, because it's kind of unique. And I love to hear the lingo that you're using within the marketing world, but hey, medical, the medical niche it's very unique as well, right?
Yeah, if you guys want to jump in, that'd be great. I'd like to hear what you guys have to say, because there's so much to it. I mean, every subspecialty has got their own unique language.
Yes. So if you guys have questions, don't hesitate to or type it in the box. And those are you that are on Facebook Live. If you have any questions, pop them in the comments. I don't see any. Let me see here. I don't see any in the Facebook chat as of right now. We do have a couple people looks like watching. So if you guys have any questions, feel free. Now, for those doctors that are starting off, David, like they know they need marketing, right? But they're
True.
also running their office. They're
Yeah.
the project manager, picking them up, their patient, family, uh, family work balance. How would you advise somebody, or maybe a doctor in a different discipline is going off on their own? Like, how important is marketing? We know we need a bookkeeper, we know we need a
Hmm.
project manager, an office manager, right?
Yeah.
Like, how the importance or the order of marketing for somebody that's just starting, opening up their
Hmm.
office, and how do they sort that chaos?
Man, that's huge. That's a really, really good question. You know, the main thing is to have a plan in place because most healthcare facilities, especially private practices or smaller groups, they rely heavily on referrals. And if they're getting a ton of referrals, that's great. I have one client they're a neurology clinic. They get 2,000 patient referrals per month. They couldn't possibly use my SEO service. We're providing just website maintenance for them and then helping them with review automation now, just because they need to fix their Google profiles and get reviews from the happy patients. So that's all they need right now. They're completely overloaded. However, starting out, and especially as competitive as the landscape is now, you need to at least make sure that you have a growth strategy in place.
Mhm.
I just made a LinkedIn post the other day talking about strategy versus tactics. And if you have a solid strategy in place, you can compensate and adjust and make changes as you go along, but your overall strategy is solid. But if you're just trying one tactic after another, just to desperately try to get something, that doesn't last in the long term. You need to at least talk to somebody who has experience in that industry to know which way should I attack this or what are the options, because every stage of growth is going to be a little different with how you should approach it. There's a lot of companies, they really shouldn't even start with SEO if that's not where your patients are. If you're in a heavy, like let's say LA or Orange County, or even like New York City, like a big urban area that has a lot of competition in your niche, I wouldn't start out with just SEO. It'd be better to start with paid advertising, and you can build up SEO over time. But you're not going to get a strong flow of patients if you're just starting out with SEO, if it's a highly competitive niche. And in those situations, your website design and your branding is super important. So you got to lay the foundation right. You got to have a solid strategy in place and at least talk to somebody, even if it's just for an hour. Most marketing agencies will give a free consultation just to give you advice to start out. Most of the time, they're not going to charge you like an hourly rate, just because they want to build some goodwill with you and help you out, honestly. So that's where I would start, just talking to somebody who can help point you in the right direction. Even if you're not ready to hire an agency, just talk to somebody who knows the industry, who can help you lay the right foundation to get off on the right foot. The main thing is to get revenue. Just get some patients in the door, get things started. You can always add marketing on later.
So Kyle, I see your question on there. I'll hit it, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. So for that doctor, how does his BS meter, right? Because
Uh-huh.
us as marketers, kind of like yourself, right? You heard all the right stuff.
True.
Okay, bam, we got, okay, I'm gonna go with you, probably go with you 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, right? And then like yourself, like, man, this guy's an addict himself, or what the heck, where's my money going?
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that doctor, that office manager, what are some like red flags that they should look for when speaking to an agency?
There's a few different things. First of all, what's the length of the commitment? Because nobody wants to feel like their money is being wasted. I have been there myself. Um, First of all, what's the commitment? How long is the commitment? Is it 3 months? Is it month to month? Is it 6 months, 12 months? I've had some companies that want to have a 2-year commitment. I wouldn't want to commit to something longer than necessary. You should legally have a way to get out of it without breaking your contract. So I would definitely look at that first of all. Next, do you have experience in my industry? And it doesn't have to be like, do you have experience with, working with dental surgeons, or maxillofacial surgeons or otorhinolaryngologists? It doesn't have to be that specific necessarily for you to do a good job, an excellent job with SEO and marketing, because most of those specialties in marketing really don't exist, to be honest. It's hard enough to find somebody just who understands healthcare marketing at all. So you want to find somebody that's excellent at what they do, and then have some sort of plan in place to make sure that they're going to be able to deliver in your niche. As long as that's in place, you're going to be good, as long as you're not going to be getting messed up in the other areas. So I would ask, like, what all, another thing would be, what services overall that do you offer? And because it depends on what you're looking for. So like, let's say a marketing company that only works with national companies, they're probably not going to understand how to do a good job of local SEO. If you have a physical location, like a clinic or a surgery center in a specific city, you don't want to have leads from New York City if you're in LA. You don't need, you're a local clinic. You only need local patients. So you want to make sure that they know how to do the hyper local marketing. Do they do local keyword research? Because the terms people are going to be searching for are going to be a little different in LA versus New York City. So that's another thing. Another thing to look out for is, what does your gut say about this? The person. Do they feel like an honest person? Because that really matters. Is this an individual and a company that you can trust? Because that actually says a lot. Like, that's just as important as their level of skill. We've all met people that are very skilled but very dishonest at the same time. So those are other things I think about.
Great answer. Love that answer. That's like on point, right? If David, if we can go back to your content and actually address Kyle's question. He
Yeah.
writes, his question is, when you get a client to edit AI generated content, do you ask that they sign off as an author? If so, do you create an author profile for each piece of content you published?
What I like to do is have an individual that represents the clinic or the facility who is the qualified provider, and then literally have them review all content before it gets published. And we don't have to necessarily say that it was written by them, but you can say it was reviewed by them.
Got it.
It depends. We just agree ahead of time how we want to phrase that. But our team writes stuff with the help of AI, or it can be all human. It just depends on whatever the agreement is ahead of time. You just want to make sure that you say whatever you're saying is the truth and that's legitimate, but you don't want to post it without it being reviewed by someone who's qualified, for sure.
That at the very least, you want that reviewed, get to my
Mhm.
vote. And that's one thing, like, I've been on a big kick on, like, with AI and these tools, and even like a tool like All This, or recently, like Search Atlas, they embed a lot of AI,
Mhm.
but it doesn't replace that human eye,
True.
especially with content
Yeah.
that you want to make it your own experience, your own point of
Yeah.
view, to kind of make it more unique
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
So
And I will add to that, that really has become the standard in the last year or two for even the huge websites. I would say WebMD is one of the few that is completely written, or as far as we know, is completely written by the humans, because they have such a massive number of staff that are doctors. But almost all the other ones, if you look in the author section, it says, medically reviewed by, John Smith, MD, or whoever the individual is that reviewed it. So most of it is written by AI nowadays.
and then, but it'll say reviewed on them.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So Kyle, hopefully that got your question. Weight loss clinic. what what would you recommend for 100% online medical clinics, medical clinic services, 100% telemed?
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I completely understand the whole question. Are you asking what would I recommend for an like a marketing strategy? I'm assuming I'm going to go with that. I'm going to run with that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments, but I'm going to assume that's what it is. You want a flow. You want a flow of traffic. You want to start out with traffic if it's that type of clinic, because if it's telemed, I mean, you're getting people from online only. You most likely don't have a physical location. So in most cases, I would do a combination of organic SEO, which builds as a snowball effect over time. And at the same time, most of your leads are going to be coming from paid advertising. So this could be Google and YouTube ads, Facebook ads. Pinterest would work really well with that niche because it's 30 to 50-year-old females. That's where I would start. You want to try some TikTok ads, but you want to test a bunch of different things, but start with what works, brings a lot of traffic at the lowest cost per click. And then as you get results, just iterate from there. But that's where I would start, definitely, in most cases.
Yeah, so they put in terms of SEO,
Oh, okay.
there is no GMB as far as
Mhm.
their understanding.
Okay.
So in terms of SEO, no GMB. Um, what
Okay.
would you recommend for 100% online medical clinic services, 100% telemed?
Okay. If we're only focusing on SEO, I would start organic, do a massive amount of content. You're going to want to be publishing regularly, weekly for sure, like probably multiple posts per week. And then for the link building part, since you can't lean on directories, it's not as important when you're dealing with that. Um, it's very competitive, I would say. I have worked with, I'm under non-disclosure, but I have worked with a weight loss clinic, very large chain, and we saw 50%, what was it? I think it was a 30% increase in organic traffic in 3 months is what it was. And what we did was large amounts of content for the keywords that was the low-hanging fruit. So the keywords that were between like number 8 and number 20 on Google, focused heavily on creating content with those and building links to those. The best type of links that you can build that are going to make the biggest impact would be publicity links. And that's something that you can engineer with press releases, with Haro and other publicity opportunities. Because the reach is so massive, those are the links that are definitely going to help you the most.
So great questions, guys. I appreciate that. If you have any more, don't hesitate to drop them in there. Awesome. Thanks. No, yeah.
Absolutely.
So awesome. I appreciate you guys participating in here. So Dave, as we close this up, how can people get a hold of you? What's the best way if they have any clients, if they want you to kind of partner up, any guidance, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Now, the best place would be LinkedIn. I don't know if, yeah, I'll go ahead and put my email in here too. I hope I don't get spammed by anybody, but no, LinkedIn, I'm David Sanchez, RN. That's my LinkedIn. I'm happy to talk, even if somebody has questions. I'll give even consultation without any charge, complimentary, just to help people out. I'm a nurse at heart. I love helping people. So even if it doesn't benefit me, it's all about helping people. So you can reach me through my email at david@digitalismedical.com. Happy to answer any questions there. Looks like we might have some other questions here. Happy to answer.
Yeah. Can you read that? Can you see it?
I lost it.
Under messages or chat.
Let me open that up. Okay, here we go. Can you elaborate on the publicity link building? I'm sorry, that's probably a little too in-depth. I'll be happy to explain that a little bit more. There's some courses I've taken that really help spell that out. I'm happy to help you in a separate call. It's just going to take too long.
No worries. Okay. So again, guys, you know, LinkedIn is probably the best spot. Reach out for David. David, any way that the team here, the GMB family, could support you? You have anything that you want to share that, you know, you wanted to publicize, or people, you know, get behind or support you in?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just for us to help each other, you know? I mean, there's everybody knows that there's sales and marketing people that you can't trust. And we're in this to help people, you know. We're here to
Yes.
support people and do great work, just like I did as a nurse, you know. I worked as a nurse because I liked helping people, and people knew they could trust me doing that. And I think we should take that our integrity with us wherever we go. So the more people we help, the better the marketing industry looks. That's the way I see
That's
it.
it. 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. So one last question, David asked this of all our guests. It's a little bit different here. What is a fun fact about David that nobody knows?
That nobody knows. Well, I don't know about that nobody knows. I'm a pretty transparent person. Well, I tore my ACL last year. I played basketball since I was like 8 years old. I tore my ACL a year ago, just finished recovering. I can't really play basketball anymore. It's just not the
Uh,
same. I mean, I can mess around, but I can't play competitively anymore. So I've switched
awesome.
to pickleball a few months ago, and I'm having a lot of fun playing pickleball.
That seems to be kind
I
of
really
popular
enjoy
here
it.
lately.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
used to look down on it like, that's not like a competitive sport. Once you start playing and actually being able to hit the ball, that helps a lot. So I'm starting to really love it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, David, I appreciate you. Thank you for hopping on here. Your insight on you know, healthcare SEO. I appreciate you, guys. Thank you again for those that are catching the replay, those that are on the Facebook Live, and those that are here with us. With that being said, guys, much love, much success, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you.